Hey guys, and welcome back to the finale of Zeroing. We've already bested most of Cat's horde of, again, very Geiger-looking enemies, like these little spindly guys, look almost exactly like the Xenomorphs from the Alien franchise. But there's still a bit more to go, so before we get a copyright infringement from Contra, let's continue.
It's one thing that I've been waiting till the last part to bring up, because like I mentioned earlier, I'll be showing off the 3 endings from the European version. However, the Japanese version was a little bit more creative with its endings, in that there are 35 possible outcomes you could get.
What?
And the way this works is that you've got the main 3 that are decided by difficulty. So like if you play on hard, then the first ending you'll get is the hard ending, and it will carry on from there. But like depending on other difficulties, you get the extra ones from cycling round. So like if you beat the game, you get one ending, then you just carry on playing. When you beat it a second time, you get the second ending, and so on and so forth. But the Japanese one, that can go on through 35 rounds, and after the first 3, which are like actual story and shit, like mostly implied story because there's not really much dialogue, but we'll see them in this part. But after that, it just becomes like a screen of that Cats dude with lines of dialogue, which some of them are just weird parodies of like Japanese like skits and things like that. Other ones are just like low, wacky, random sort of things. I've actually made some notes of some lines of dialogue in particular that I found quite amusing. There's ending 7. Gamashio is our doo-doo. If you put it on rice and mix it with an egg, it's super yummy. That's from the Cats guy, by the way.
Okay.
Then, ending 13. The battle isn't necessarily over. Ha ha ha. Boing. Oh, my butt's itchy. Actual quote from the Cats guy.
Oh.
Then there's ending 17. A cow or a horse would look oh so delicious if it exploded. What to do?
I mean, yeah, we do eat those animals, but I usually prefer them cooked, not horse. Never had horse.
You might have if you bought Tesco burgers a few years back, but yeah. Ending 19. Again, I think this is taking the piss, but I would love it if this is like actual lore. It's the Cats guy saying, I'm your mum. I gave birth to you 22 years ago on a Federation military base. Call me mummy.
Jesus Christ!
Nice.
Probably my favourite one, which is ending 30. I'm gonna go pee-pee behind you. Now do you give up? That's your reward for playing the game 30 times in a row in full.
Well, Christ, but by the end of that psychological torture, yes, I do give up.
And then the final ending, the 35th one, is an ending which shows you the password that you can input to get to like a cheat menu, so you can put on like, you know, powering up your thing. You can also go back and rewatch all the endings, and that may have been how I captured the alternate endings for this run as well.
Well, it's kind of nice that they do that, because with most games, they usually just end. Like the R-Type games, you don't really get the benefit of like having multiple loops and things like that. With Gradius, you do get that, but it doesn't necessarily add more like story or like fun stuff, but it just, each time you go through makes the game harder, and there's quite a few really skilled players that have like played Gradius 5 to loop 255, and it's just absolutely insane.
Christ. How do we feel about alternate endings in general? Like, Flame, do you prefer like one that's definitely the correct thing and then you have an alternate ending? Or do you just like, all of it's what if, shall we say?
Here I'm kind of undecided there. Like, I like the idea of having like extra rewards for players who like maybe put a bit more time in. I'm not too big a fan on this particular approach because, like, for our one, like, we think this run of the game that I've done here, which is you know, a cut down, like no death run of the game that's as optimal as I could get it, is like 45 minutes. So if you're playing through, like in the Japanese version, 35 times, how many fucking hours are you going to sink into that just to get like extra screens?
Good point, but I was referring more to the fact, like, whether or not it confuses the lore or not. Do you like something that's just silly for the sake of being silly, or something with a bit of a literary crunch to it?
I think if it's obvious that it's like just a what if, then it's fine, because you know you can take it or leave it. Whereas like if there's things where it's contradictory, then, you know, there might be a bit of an issue. Like, think the Shadow the Hedgehog approach, where it's like, all of these are like what ifs, but like, it's kind of up to your interpretation as to which one feeds into the actual ending.
I gotta say, I've loved like how throughout the story, all the enemies we're fighting are very clearly cyborgs. So it's not just like Cats as the cyborg and all his minions are like robotic and whatnot. No, it's a nice mix, an amalgamation, if you will.
Yeah, it's like there's this whole species of enemies that are attacking, and that's just, it adds to the world building.
And what if they're all my mum? What happens then?
That first when no mummy cyborg, yeah.
Who was Tom Stevens' mom?
Stop
was
it.
it
No,
Cats?
no.
The Denver Broncos? Chef? Sorry, I couldn't resist.
I want South Park to cover you in the next season, so you can get some fire from the press for once.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. I don't think I'm quite that interesting yet, but you know, give it a few years, maybe they'll have something for me.
Oh, this screams final level, lads.
This is indeed final level. It's got a few of these things that, like, the music is very final level. It's got that, like, it's whacked up the intensity. I kind of like the way we've got these simple enemies, like, opening the thing. Because it's like, you know something's coming, but it's not really showing you what yet. So you've just got, you know, the missile things that you just sort of got to circle around.
Oh, are they homing as well?
Yeah, this is where the enemies do get to, like, shoot back at you with your own, like, approach. Which I suppose it's only fair.
I've just thought of another side-scrolling shooter for the NES that I've never played, but it's got a pretty staunch reputation of being bullshit hard. Do you know which one I'm referring to, Bob?
Let me think here. There's Life Force, which was basically how Gradius got started. Then you got Gradius itself. There was a game called Phalanx, I believe. But apart from that, I don't know. You'll have to tell me because I'm not entirely sure.
Silver Surfer, my dude.
Oh yes, of course, Silver Surfer. How could we forget? I always forget that's a side-scroller.
Yeah, because you're thinking just in terms of like spaceships and whatnot, like the Vic Viper. No, I flipped it around and we've got a Marvel hero on our hands instead.
Oh yes, of course, that infamous AVGN episode. But yeah, I never really had much experience with the NES ones. I basically got my start with the Master System, then went Mega Drive, and then I skipped straight to the Super Nintendo, because at that point, there's not much point in owning an NES, because, you know, it was old hat.
Did you say Mega Drive back there? Is that the evil counterpart? Like somewhere between the Genesis and the Mega Drive lies the Mega Drive.
No, that's the one from Blaze's University, you know.
Ah, of course.
Yep.
But I do like the way you were going on some spiel about some other game while I was in the most difficult part of the entire game, at least to my recollection, which was the part where there were those guys shooting you from behind, and I just had to weave in like this massive maze of pink bullets. That was the other part that probably took me the most fucking research.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I wasn't even looking at the screen then. I was making sure the recording was being captured.
Oh god, I am so glad I put all that effort into getting a good rundown.
You're welcome, O.
Although that moment there, it did give me flashbacks to the what's usually one of the last bosses in Gradius, where it's literally just a wall that's filled with weapons, and it constantly spawns guys that are constantly on the ceiling and the floor that start shooting at you as well. You don't get a moment's reprieve during that fight, and in Gradius 5, oh my god, that is so hard, because once you've actually destroyed the wall, it starts moving and then it starts firing, like, bouncing shit at you, and oh my god, it's so difficult. It's like I think it's probably the boss that gave me the hardest time, and this is coming from a guy that has played a couple of Toho games as well, so yeah, take of that as you will.
I know the Toho games have a bit of a reputation. Like, I've never played them. Like, I've got friends who talk about it all the fucking time. But like, that's the one with like all the anime girls and
Yes,
shit.
it is the one with all the fucking lollies and whatnot. You should know, Flame.
Yeah, well, I was trying to play a little bit dumb so I don't look completely degenerate.
Oh, Flame. Flame, Flame, Flame. Your Twitter account reveals all.
Fuck.
But no, I have played a couple of Toho games, and I have played a lot of Imperishable Night, so much so that I was actually able to beat the extra stage, like only losing 1 or 2 lives, and that's still a moment I'm immensely pleased with. It took a lot of college days just to get that out, because as well as an MP3 player, I had Killer Instinct 2 on the MAME arcade emulator and one of the Toho games on there, and I just sort of played that in the downtime, and just eventually I got really, really good at it.
What is it about, like, side-scrolling shooters back in the day that always have this type of boss? Like, it's just a mess of machinery and, like, flashy organic bits, you know?
Well, what it is it's going for the whole, like, sensory overload thing just to kind of overwhelm you as the final boss.
Yeah.
Because, like, you've got things shooting at you from fucking everywhere, and the fact that they're all their own different kinds of projectiles with their own patterns, like the top one shooting out the homing things, then we've got those fireballs at the bottom, and your best bet is to just keep on firing. Like, I do have the game's auto fire off thing on, which comes on by default, so there's that to my aid. But one thing I will say about the auto fire is that the auto fire isn't optimal. Like, if you're actually good at button mashing, you can get in way more frames of shots than using the auto one. So it, like, depends whether you're good at it, but I didn't do that because this one is tool assisted enough as it is. I wasn't going to be even more of a pussy.
So what's the purple thing that keeps coming out from the ship exactly?
I believe that is the weak point.
Ah, okay.
Or at least one of them. At this point, I don't even know where I'm shooting. I'm just trying to avoid getting killed.
You know, I always thought it was like an escape pod or something, and like Katz was sort of downloading himself into the escape pod whilst the thing was being destroyed.
Maybe, but here we're going to have a little look at the easy and hard endings before signing off for the credits, which are the normal ones.
What?
So this is the easy one. Yes, we have these little, I've got their name written down, Pipiru bean things that just come and dance to the can-can for us. I have no fucking clue why, but this is the easy ending.
Ugh, I think I'd rather be punching the nuts, honestly.
For some reason, they remind me of Dizzy.
Yeah, a little bit.
Beantastic Dizzy. There you go.
Yeah, original with the character.
Oh.
So, yeah, that's the thing. They take their bow, and I think one of them's gonna get creepy close around the side or something. No, he just looped around there. I have no fucking clue why. But this is the hard ending.
Well, at least they spelled congratulations correctly. That's more than what most Mega Drive games do.
Nah, congratulations, guys.
I know, with how badly they mistranslated the intro, I would not have been surprised if they did. But no, that's like the one thing they did right.
The hard ending, I think this is meant to be like the good ending. I don't know whether it's like showing the Zig like taking a beating after the epic fight, and it's like it's Blaze of Glory out. I think some weird thing's gonna come and abduct it. I don't know what the fuck's going on here.
Ah, well.
This reminds me of one of the R-Type endings. I think it was an R-Type Delta where, like, at the end, like, your ship's all battered and beaten up, and in the end you crash into a tree, and then in a later R-Type game, you find that ship there that's just been completely taken over by this tree, which turns out to be a Bido entity, and it starts firing at you. It's so good! But it's so sad as well, because you're just like, yeah, I went through all that, and at the end of it all, I just crash into a tree. What the fuck? But yeah, I'm assuming for this, it's kind of like you're beaten up, and then, like, your, like, the main command vessel comes and picks you back up.
Very melancholy.
After having saved the Japanese colonies.
Yeah.
It is a nice little peaceful ending, I guess.
Oh, back to the planet that's as cool and green as me. No!
They had to ruin the calm nature of it, didn't they?
Spawn of Satan, be gone! Oh, dearie me. Those things will be haunting me for the next couple of days, I'm sure. I'll be waking up one day just as giant pink things in my face. I'll be just like, damn it. Why did Flame have to play this game? But no, it is a great game. I mean, it gets a bit of a bad rap just because people think it is literally meme status and nothing else, but there is a solid game in there. And if you are a fan of shmups, I would recommend it, and also Hellfire by extension, I suppose.
I love the visual design, I love the music, can't speak to the gameplay, but what can I say? I love the memes. So, Flame, thank you for setting up the com.
Yeah, you had to get that one in, didn't you? But yeah, to basically echo a lot of what Volker said, like, it's a fun game. Like, I had a good time playing it, even though, like, my skill means I have to cheat. But yeah, it's a good time. It looks pretty, it sounds amazing. And it's just a fun time.
Okay, well, we'll sign off here, let you enjoy a little bit of the credits music and whatnot, even if it's a few seconds. So, from all of us here at HFC, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time for another HFC playthrough. Goodbye.